there's a point in a relationship. This guy has been chasing this girl. He really likes her. She likes him. And then the chick is like, okay, when is this getting serious? Are we exclusive? You know, because sometimes there are people, it's like you're not sure. You have to ask, which already to me is a problem because I told you I'm a very traditional babe. But by the time you have to question if someone is exclusive to you or not, you know, a lot of women are then left like, why do you guys do that? Why do a lot of, let me not say you guys, but in general, but like, why do a lot of men, or at least a lot of women's experience would be that this guy is very scared of the commitment question, even scared about there being exclusivity, and then we find a lot of men really being very happy to have multiple partners. And so when, you know, polygamy was legalized, a lot of dudes were on Twitter celebrating. Talk to me about that.
I think the moment at which a guy is supposed to say I'm exclusive to you or exclusive to me is when they're ready to make the next move. When a guy always knows what he wants from the word go, regardless. You look very beautiful, you're earning money, you have everything. A guy always knows what he wants, and if they are not into you, it will not happen.
Okay.
It will not happen.
So how patient should we be then with these gentlemen? If a guy always knows what he wants, yet it looks like he's dilly-dallying and spending his time, and me, I'm like, yo, you know, how patient what would you advise a woman then?
Well, I'll say this. You see, there's a very thin line between actually witchcraft and making someone actually wait for an extremely long time, where you're basically giving them a place where they do not know where they're standing. And I believe to a good extent, some of these things actually just need sober conversations, even in relationships. Because I believe in as much as I know that when most time men will actually know what they actually need in a woman, the woman they will need. And it's one thing that I've observed over a period of time, that most of the time you find the problem comes when, I'll be very traditional on this kind of topic, when you're giving him all the advantages of a wife without the commitment.
Preach.
If you're doing that at the end of the day, let me tell you, if you're giving him the commitment of a wife,
come on, Justin,
and he has not committed to you, at the end of the day, you're doing a disservice to yourself.
Come on, Justin.
Yeah, it's true. You're doing a disservice to yourself. That man will never see the need to actually commit to you in a covenant relationship of marriage, because why should he commit when you're giving him everything? But the wife,
you need a high five, my friend. Preach, Justin. Yo, we're going on break, and these gentlemen are gonna be back, because we're going to continue preaching on this, okay? This is Full Circle with Joyce. Stay tuned. All right. Okay, guys, welcome back to Full Circle with Joyce. And thank you guys for those of you who are engaging with us and sending in your feedback. Shout out to this team, Oraro, Eunice, everybody else, and I do appreciate you guys. Some comments here. Hey Joyce, for me it's really a big deal. I cannot propose as we are considered desperate for attention. And that person is watching the show from Umoja Ngong. You don't name me your name, but thank you for that. Someone else says, if I love a guy, I'm going to make the first move. That's by Laura. Someone else, Kenneth from Case Out, saying, still with you on the show and can't turn away because of the sweet topics always. Asante Sana. Hey Joyce, I'm David from Kutus in Kirinyaga. Man is the head of his wife, and a wife must respect her husband. Hey, okay. And nice love does not consider money. Pure love comes from the heart, and that lives forever. I miss you. Nice day. Thank you. Thank you, David. And he sounds like a very, you know, like traditional manly man, like a wife must respect the husband, and love is not just about money. But I do take your points there, David, and thank you very much for that. Caleb, you're tuning in from Naivasha. You're saying the show is going on well. Your friend Joseph is setting his KCP. Good luck to him as well. I'm going to get to more of your feedback as we go along, but let me pose some more questions to our guests here. I have Julian Jugunas and Justin Kipkembwe once again. Now, let's talk about like men's hobbies and women's hobbies and how we can sort of meet in the middle, because when football season comes around, mazee, kuna wanawake wanakasirika sana, right? Julian, how do we understand how to give each other that space, right? There's certain activities, you know, we want to do together, or at least I expect my spouse to come and do with me, but maybe those are the things he absolutely does not want to do, or he just wants his space, and I get offended when he doesn't invite me into, you know, his hangout time. How do we find that balance, like on the real?
Okay, first of all, I'm not a football fan, so yes. So, but I've gotten to interact with friends who are married, and they're like, wow, if football time comes, the wife probably brings out issues about you're going out and you can as well watch TV. Unaweza kaa kwa nyumba watch TV. But for a man, if they love football, it's not about sitting in the living room and watching the TV. It's more of going out with friends and cheering, and you know that. It all begins with communication. Like, what do I love? What do you love? We have to strike a balance. If I love football, you'll give me this space and you'll understand that I'm a football fan, and I'll go out and enjoy myself. If you love watching movies, I'll create even that time for you to go and even watch movies if that's your hobby, you know.
Yeah.
It's all about communication.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on to another one as we save on time here. Why is it that commitment is such a big issue with a lot of men, and particularly when it comes to committing to one woman? Justin?
I think to a good extent that can be explained maybe in a very simple way. I don't want to call myself the devil's advocate, but I don't think many men will love me today.
Okay.
Part of actually the reason why most people fear commitment is because they have a kind of love that is actually self-centered. It's actually an immature form of actually love, whereby they are obsessed with their self and their own perspectives, where they're in what we can actually refer to as an epistemic bubble, or an echo chamber, where they're only hearing the thoughts that actually confirm to them what they want to hear about themselves. Rather, they do not want to put their faith down and actually be able to stand up and commit to a relationship. Because I believe exclusivity in one way or another is something that is actually able to help you.
Yeah.
In this particular age, it's actually harder for someone to actually move with different people.
Yeah, and it's expensive.
It's expensive. Economy is poor.
Kwanza wewe ujue the next men's conference hautakuwa invited.
It's okay.
But it's okay. Mazee, I'm sure all the ladies are like, oh yeah, like they're snapping their fingers and agreeing with you. Now wako hapo nawasikia kwa earpiece. But you know, you're saying that it is about selfish intention and selfish love in a relationship.
Yeah.
Wow. And so do men not acknowledge that? Or it's something that a lot have just sort of chosen to just push to the back burner? Because a lot of people, when you ask them that question, they'll start telling you, oh, you know, this is Africa, oh, you know, sijui sisi ni watu, oh, vitu on the ground ni, oh, please. Like, they'll start pulling out all these cultural things and saying that is the... In fact, I think a lot of even the, some of the nuances behind that polygamy law are about saying that is the culture of our society. Yet these are people that are far more educated than their parents ever were.
Yeah. I think sometimes the problem has never even been education in real sense. The problem has been the kind of attitudes people have had. You see, attitudes to a good extent can actually be socially engineered into people. People grow up seeing things happen, and they see, you know, the moment where we are as a community, or rather a society, there are things we have condoned. We have even believed that, you know, it's okay. I found many times, sometimes you find a woman in a counseling context telling you that, you know, I've accepted the fact that my man will cheat.
Yeah.
They will cheat. They will always
like
cheat. And the moment you have that kind of mindset, to a good extent, for God's sake, that's a self-defeating philosophy that you can actually
deserve better.
Yeah. And I believe to a good extent, sometimes people see all the clues even before they actually get married. Yeah. But they choose to ignore them because sometimes they just want to settle.
And I love that you're the one who's brought this up, so that leo nisiambiwa ati nimekujia boy child, but you've talked about clues, right? Certain things that to you would say this is not a good man, or this would not make a good spouse, let me say. I want you guys as men to touch on some of those. You know, if you were counseling like your sister, if you look at the person she's dating and you're looking at the sort of qualities or characteristics of this person, what would you advise the women watching here today as some of the things to look out for? These clues, these things that we see but still choose to ignore, that maybe are not just, it's not just a charisma thing. It could actually be a deep-seated character issue.
I believe anything that you see in a man from the word go, or from a lady from the word go, it tells you how the future will be. If you spot any issue and let it just slide and say, we will deal with that later on in life, you have condoned that, and it'll come to bite you back later on. So if you want to know the kind of man that you will live with, you will notice those funny behaviors. You will actually, these people will be very insecure. They will want to know, to go through your phones, and that is very a big issue.
Right.
They will want to go through your phone. They will want to know what friends you're hanging out with, in a very not so good way, you know.
Right.
And these behaviors you will see. Condoning even how you interact with other people. How I interact with ladies will tell you what kind of a man I am. It is very, very important for a lady to know the kind of person that they are getting into a relationship with, because character is something that you can't hide.
Yeah,
you can't hide. It will always shine.
Right.
However good you are, if you try and be a bad boy, the good side will always show up.
Okay.
If you're a bad person and try covering it up with ice cream and all that, your bad side will always
shine.
It will always shine. So you will not miss that simple detail that will tell you that this is not a good person.